14.10 has brought forth a plethora of OP builds, and that's exactly what we'll be covering in today's video. Definitely look to take advantage of these while you can, because it's entirely likely they get hotfixed or nerfed in the not too distant future. And remember, if you're struggling to climb in League, SkillCapped is the only place that guarantees you'll climb at least 5 divisions while actively using our service. Otherwise, you can claim a full refund. We do this because our service really works, and this is the best time of the season to get in on SkillCapped, as we've just released tons of site-exclusive courses designed for you to power learn the most important concepts for climbing in League of Legends stupidly fast, compared to those who don't use SkillCapped. Join today for unlimited access to the world's most famously effective League of Legends guides. And remember, one subscription gives you access to all of our other games as well. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below to stop wasting time being hard stuck and get the rank you actually want. And with that said, let's get into it. One of the most OP new builds coming out of the top lane for 14.10 revolves around Overlord's Blood Mail on Set. Overlord's is the brand new bruiser item that was added to the game with this patch, and it synergizes perfectly with Set's kit. You get AD and health as the base stats on Overlord's, but it's the passive that really pushes it over the top. The passive on Overlords grants you up to 10% bonus AD based on your missing health. This is amazing for Set because a lot of the time when he uses his W, he's going to be on lower health. This means Set's W will be dealing a massive amount of damage and allowing him to turn fights in his favor. You still need Stride Breaker and Hull Breaker as your two core pickups on Set, while Overlords is going to slot in as your third purchase. The reason you don't want Overlords as a rush or even a second purchase is due to its other passive. 2% of your bonus health is converted into AD, so Overlord slots in really well third after you've already got a bunch of health from Stride and Hullbreaker. Best rune page for Set consists of Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand, followed by Second Wind and Overgrowth for secondaries. It's especially important to go Overgrowth in runes with this build, since the bonus health from Overgrowth will be giving you more AD when you pick up Overlords. Aurelia has a brand new snowball-y offensive build that she can run for 14.10. You can play this build in both top lane or mid lane, and the rush item will be the same as always with Blade of the Ruined King. Second item is where things get shaken up, as instead of going for Sundered Sky or Wit's End, Kraken Slayer is now a legitimate option. As of recording this video, Kraken has the highest win rate for any second item on Aurelia. So what changed with Kraken Slayer that actually makes it a strong purchase now? The crit was completely removed from Kraken, and in exchange, it was given 7% movement speed, AD was increased by 10, and attack speed is up by 5%. Every single one of those changes positively influences the strength of Kraken on Aurelia, so it's not a surprise she's been thriving with the item. The 7% movement speed is especially nice to stick onto your targets easier and take advantage of all the on-hit damage Aurelia has coming out of her autos. So the complete core build that you can look to try for this patch consists of a Blade of the Ruined King rush into Kraken Slayer second and either Sundered Sky or Wit's End third. As for the rune page, it's Conqueror with Absorb Life, Alacrity, and Last Stand, while Biscuits and Cosmic Insight are optimal secondaries. Absorb Life is working really well on Aurelia right now, as it gives her even more health back when she executes minions with her Q. The brand new mage item called Blackfire Torch is working quite well on a lot of mages, but one champion specific who's absolutely dominating with it in 14.10 is Karthus. Although Malignance was pretty good on Karthus, Blackfire Torch is just absolutely perfect for him. The burn damage passive is exactly what Karthus wants, and the fact that the passive deals bonus damage to monsters is the cherry on top. Being able to deal so much damage to monsters with the item allows for Karthus to power through full clears incredibly fast, reach super high CS levels, and scale into his core build very reliably. The 2-item core has Karthus going Blackfire into Liandry's, and it's one of the most broken 2-item cores in the game right now. The burn passive on Blackfire and Liandry's are not the same, so you get the full effects out of both of them. Rune page that you will be running with this build consists of Dark Harvest with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, and Ultimate Hunter. Presence of Mind and Last Stand are the best secondaries. 14.10 is the patch that has really pushed Hui over the top, as he's another champ who's dominating with Blackfire Torch. Hui has so much AoE damage potential coming out of his kit that he gains a lot of strength from the burn passive on Blackfire. The second passive on Blackfire is also incredibly powerful for Hui, because for every enemy that you damage, you gain 4% bonus AP. As a matter of fact, you can also gain this bonus AP from hitting epic and large monsters, so when you're fighting around Baron or Dragon, it's very easy for Hui to stack this up and get a mass amount of increased AP. Since Blackfire provides mana, you don't even really need to rush Archangels on Hui anymore. It's still viable for sure, but what a lot of high elo Hui players are doing is they're rushing the burn damage core of Blackfire and Liandry's for a massive mid-game spike. The rune setup performing the best on Hui in 14.10 revolves around First Strike with Cashback, Triple Tonic, and Cosmic Insight. Mana Flow and Transcendence are for secondaries. By grabbing the new rune cashback. It gives you 6% gold back for every legendary item you purchase, which helps Hwei scale into that mid-game spike a bit faster. Let's move on to a bunch of ADC builds now, as it's been the role most heavily impacted by the item changes. There's a brand new Draven build that you need to be taking advantage of, as Bloodthirster is back as Draven's best rush item. Essence Reaver is completely trash on Draven now after the changes, and even though the Collector is still viable, Bloodthirster is just way more optimal. 80 AD and 18% lifesteal are the perfect stats for Draven, as it allows him to hit super hard with his axes in quick trades, and then after the trade is complete, he just heals up any damage he takes from minions and rinses and repeats until the enemy is dead. Of course, you now get the shield from Bloodthirster as well, so it makes it very difficult for enemies to trade back against Draven in a straight up duel. After rushing Bloodthirster, you want to stack even more AD by going Infinity Edge second. With IE and BT as your two core items, you're getting 160 AD. Flashback to 14.9, and if you were to build both items on Draven, you would only be getting 120 AD. So 40 more AD in 14.10, while the combined cost of both items is only 100 gold more expensive. Of course, you're losing the crit on Bloodthirster, but that's definitely well worth the trade-off. As a result of lethal tempo being removed from the game, we've also got a new rune setup that you should be prioritizing. Press the Attack is outclassing everything else right now, as the burst damage and damage amp allow for Draven to hit extremely hard up front with a few autos. The new crit item called Yuntal Wild Arrows doesn't seem to be overly powerful on too many champs, but one ADC who's finding incredible results with it is Caitlyn. It's actually a very unique core build that is leading to a lot of success for Cait right now, as you're not implementing any attack speed at all. It's just a heavy AD and crit stacking build, as the Collector is the rush item, Infinity Edge is second, and then Yuntal Wild Arrows third. Since Cait's passive, Q, and R all have very high AD ratios, going for an AD stacking build like this works a lot better for her than most other ADCs. Trap damage is absolutely nuts with this build, and your R will be able to half health squishies with ease. Cait's R has 170% bonus AD ratio, so both the Collector and Infinity Edge gaining more AD this patch, it's amazing for Cait. The rune page that you will run with this build is Fleet Footwork, followed by Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Best secondary runes are Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. One of the few ADCs who actually likes the reworked Essence Reaver and is seeing a ton of success with it in 14.10 is Xayah. Xayah players rushing Essence Reaver are winning about 3% more than those going Kraken Slayer, which is quite the wide margin. So why is Essence Reaver so good on Xayah now? Well, the Spellblade passive was removed, and you now have a passive that provides mana back when you auto attack. This mana back passive is really nice for Xayah because she's going to be auto attacking very consistently in fights. Someone like Ezreal, though, really hates this new passive since he's not spamming autos out as consistently. You're also getting more flat AD, more haste, and more crit on this new Essence Reaver, which is great. It should honestly be pretty easy to guess what the best second item is for Xayah right now, as Navori Flicker Blades is what you want to run. Xayah loves the passive on Flicker Blades because having more consistent uptime on W and with E available more often gives her incredible DPS and kiting potential in fights. Xayah W is on a pretty long cooldown, being 16 seconds at max rank, so the Flicker Blades passive getting that reduced in fights is huge for her. As for Xayah's rune page, Press the Attack is the keystone rune with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace, followed by Free Boots and Biscuits for secondaries. Back in a great spot for solo queue for the first time all season due to the item rework is Tristana. The 2-item core for Trist is just absolutely nasty right now, as she's got a great mix of burst and DPS potential. If you're still rushing Kraken Slayer, drop it and look to pick up Infinity Edge instead. IE Rush on Trist is outperforming everything else right now, as it's such an incredible 1-item spike for her. Where Trist really thrives in solo queue is when she's paired with an aggro support who wants to dive in. Infinity Edge works so well in tandem with that because you already have the attack speed steroid from Q, so stacking all that AD from IE allows for Tristana to hit really hard in short to medium length skirmishes. Now, for the second item, it's the new Navori Flicker Blades. In short, it's got the same passive that Quick Blades had, however, instead of providing AD, it's now got attack speed and movement speed. This 2-item spike is huge for Tristana, as she gets everything that she wants to be most effective. With lethal tempo removed and Hail of Blades nerfed, Press the Attack is now the best keystone rune for Tristana. As if Jinx wasn't already one of the best ADCs in 14.9, lethal tempo being removed this patch has not hurt her at all, while there's a new core build giving her a ton of strength. Similar to Tristana, Jinx is finding really great success straight up rushing Infinity Edge. Kraken Rush is honestly still viable as well, but IE is outperforming analytically right now. It's the 2-item core of Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer that is providing Jinx with an incredibly deadly mid-game in 14.10. It's just the perfect core for Jinx because Infinity Edge is providing you with a mass amount of AD, while Phantom Dancer takes care of the attack speed. PD now grants 60% attack speed, up from 30% from last patch, but it doesn't have the stacking attack speed anymore, so you're hitting a lot harder up front now. Third item is quite situational at the moment, however, the new item called Yuntal Wild Arrows is actually performing very well in that third slot. Yuntal gives 65 AD, 25% 50% crit, and its passive causes crits to deal additional bonus damage over 2 seconds. Since Lethal Tempo has been removed from the game, Fleet Footwork has taken its place and is the best performing Keystone rune on Jinx in 14.10. As an on-hit ADC, you wouldn't really expect for Kog'Maw to implement any of the reworked crit items into his build, but Navori Flicker Blades is just way too good to pass up on. With Blade of the Ruined King losing a lot of percent health damage, it's no longer slotting in as an optimal rush item for Kog. Instead, what's working really well is a Rage Blade rush into Flicker Blade's second. Rage Blade is going to provide you with that stacking attack speed, which in turn synergizes extremely well with the passive on Flicker Blades. Flicker Blade's passive works so that whenever you auto attack, you reduce your basic abilities cooldowns by 15%. It used to be 12% on Quick Blades, but it was buffed up to 15% for 14.10 on Flicker Blades. As we all know, Kog'Maw's W being available is so important for the champion to succeed in fights, and by building Flicker Blades, you enable the champion so much more. Kog also likes the new stats on Flicker Blades, as having attack speed and movement speed is really nice for him. Kog was never able to run an item that had bonus movement speed before, so for an ADC who lacks a gap closer, this is a huge win. So a 3-item core that you can look to try for this patch revolves around a Rage Blade rush into Flicker Blade's second and Hurricane third. Lethal Tempo being removed has honestly not even hurt Kog'Maw as bad as expected, as Press the Attack is taking its place and performing very well on Kog. Alright guys, one last thing, our rank up guarantee is insane. It's like signing up for the gym and getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in SkillCapped. We obsess over making the best guides with top players, rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb easy. If you're ready to level up, visit SkillCapped.com and see the difference. So there you have it guys, 10 new builds that are extremely powerful for patch 14.10. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you back soon.